Hi, I'm Irving. Welcome to Kato and Some Guy in a Mask.
What is it this time, Mike?
A hold-up and murder at 6th Street an hour ago. I called in for a photographer, and I find you've got them all out on assignment at a charity art exhibit. When it comes to running a newspaper, you've got to let charity begin at home.
That's exactly what I'm doing. The exhibit is at my home.
He turns on the TV in his office to prove it since the event is being broadcast live.
Put up your hands. Line up against the wall. Move! All right, guys, go to work. Take care of that television camera.
At least it was. Britt calls the police. That guy was unarmed and you shot him in the back. Even in 1966, that was a no-no. Okay, I forgive you. Reid races home.
You okay?
A few butterflies, but I'll live.
Mr. Scanlon?
Yes.
The lab boys confirmed it. That was the laser beam that they used.
Laser beam. Talk about fantastic weapons.
I've heard of a laser beam, but what is it?
It's a concentrated force that generates extreme heat.
That may be the most peculiar description of a laser beam I've ever heard. Its distinctive is that it concentrates light. Hence the acronym, Light Amplification by Stimulated Emission of Radiation. Laser. If you're not sure what it is, Google it first. Oh wait, it's 1966. His Google looks like this. In that case, we'll call it close enough. Just then, Reid gets a phone call.
Who is this?
We're just a friend, Mr. Reid. I want you to know the paintings are safe. But for now.
For now?
Maybe forever, if you're willing to pay the price.
And what, pray tell, is that price? Shall we guess?
$1 million!
What do they want?
$1 million.
That night, Kato and Weird Masked Dude head to the hospital to talk to the guy who got shot. He won't talk to the police, but maybe the Green Hornet can persuade him. The only problem, someone else has taken an interest in this guy. He missed the guy in the bed and hit the door? No, that beam pretty well demolished the whole room, including the guy inside it. Yuck. The Green Hornet races down to where Kato is waiting. Kato hasn't seen anything yet.
Look.
You come rushing out of the only place that laser beam could have originated, and you're carrying a big honking suitcase. Good thing you're not acting suspicious.
My good friend and co-sponsor, Thornton Richards. So he's behind this.
He's the guy who was talking when the robbery happened. He set the whole thing up and his gallery basically provided the paintings. He's perfectly willing to leave Britt Reid on the hook for either $1 million to ransom the paintings or $1.5 million bond that he took out as security for the paintings. Either way, Britt Reid is ruined. I'm starting to think maybe Mr. Richardson isn't really his friend.
You weren't followed, were you?
I was away before anyone knew what happened.
Better play safe. You two go outside and make certain.
Not that I'm saying you're too dumb and clumsy to notice if you were, but, it's Kato time. Bruce Lee was not a fan of those flying kicks like that. He said he did them because the directors made him, but it wasn't something he would ever use in real combat. Whatever the reason he did it, it's frickin' awesome. Inside, they're trying to call Reid about the ransom, but he's not answering. I wonder why. Oh, that's why.
Watch the door.
It does tricks.
What are you doing here? What do you want with us?
I've taken a sudden interest in art.
I didn't think you bothered to buy anything.
I'm not interested in buying.
Oh, well, if you're here to steal, help yourself.
He says, I'm your partner now. When Reid pays, I get half.
Do you see that empty frame? Before long, it'll contain $1 million worth of Rembrandt.
If Reid pays.
He will. I set him up perfectly, with every step falling into place.
The Green Hornet says I'm the final step. If you refuse, I might end up inheriting your half too. Back at home, he takes the call that he knows is coming.
Be at your office tomorrow night with the money, or the paintings get fed to the laser. And, be sure and have Miss Case there with you.
Miss Case, what does she have to do with this?
Well, she's going to make delivery.
That's when you say no. You say no and mean it. You call their bluff. You say, screw you, she's more important than any painting. So burn them if you have to, but you're not dragging her into this. I guarantee they'll come up with a different plan, because if he burns the paintings, his whole plan turns to crap. He's backed into a corner here, and you know it, so use that against him. When they call you at 10, tell them no deal, she's not there and she's not going to be. Come and get the money yourself, or go ahead and destroy the paintings. But that's not his way. He's constantly throwing her to the wolves and then fretting when she gets into danger. It's like he can't figure out that the one tends to lead to the other.
As science editor of the Daily Sentinel, if you had to face a laser beam, what would you use for protection?
A mirror.
Well, as far as I know, there is no protection.
Use a mirror to reflect it somewhere else.
It concentrates such a high volume of heat that...
It's concentrated light. A simple mirror will reflect it off to someplace else, maybe even back to the person operating the laser if you position it right.
Wait a minute. There is a highly classified liquid that's used to coat the heat shields of our space capsules for re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere.
I was 13 in 7th grade and very into electronics. I knew what a laser was and how it worked. I also knew this kind of laser didn't exist because the kind that generated that sort of heat and force had to be pulsed. They couldn't fire continuously. The ones that could go continuously were used for communications and things like that because they were low power and couldn't be made into a death ray. As my nephews and I were watching this, I told them all that. I thought they were going to beat my head in.
Here it is, Britt. I had to tell some lies to get it. I hope it works.
Thanks, Frank. So do we.
I'd really like to know what those lies were and who he told them to. Kato spreads it all over the Black Beauty. Later at the office, he has the $1 million in an attaché case, and Miss Case is ready for action.
Here's your direction finder. Keep it well hidden. We won't have visual contact, so whatever you do, don't lose it.
When you're the Green Hornet's secretary, you get to play with the gadget purse. But she'd do better to put it somewhere on her person in case they make her get rid of her handbag. At the time assigned by the kidnappers, I guess, or canvas snappers, don't overthink it, Irving. Miss Case gets into a particular cab. The Black Beauty follows out of visual range, following the tracker in her handbag. The cab stops and a man tells her to get out and change cars. That's another reason not to have it in her purse. Some three-legged oaf might step on it.
Activate the scanner, Kato.
I was hoping he had the presence of mind to do that. With the scanner, he locates the new vehicle.
That's the one we followed to Richardson's. They're about half a mile ahead. Follow them, not too closely, and run silent.
Which means don't turn the engine on. Wait a minute. And they're using the same car that guy used for the hit job, the one they know the Green Hornet already followed. These guys want to go to prison.
Green Hornet following Steve. Repeat, Green Hornet following Steve.
Well, that could be a problem. They follow the car to a paved runoff channel that leads to a pumping station. Basically, it's a funnel that pours them right into the mouth of the laser beam. Let's do this.
They've triggered a laser beam.
Hail, Master of the Obvious.
They're still coming.
Hail, Junior Master of the Obvious.
Maximum strength.
I can't hold my speed.
You can't slow down now. Keep going.
That laser beam isn't doing anything. You really think that gun will? Ever wonder what the inside of a sandwich feels like? Well, wonder no more.
Richardson, look out!
Oh, come on. That thing was his pride and joy. I can't believe he would just blunder into it like that. He had way too much respect for its power. If he'd stumbled backward into it and caused a cave-in on himself or something like that, I might be able to buy it. This? Sorry, can't do it. In the epilogue, Mike wants to know why the science editor got a raise and he didn't, and it's thoroughly boring and meaningless. They really toned down the long, drawn-out driving sequences this episode. The ones that were there served an actual purpose. As a result, we had time for a good, complex story with plenty of action. Our writers clearly couldn't figure out how to wrap up Richardson, so they made him die of stupidity, but I'm not going to let that detract from the overall quality of the episode. This is the direction we need to be going. Let's see if we can keep it up. Until next time.